Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So we did our governor's map prediction on the 1st of the month yesterday. The 2nd of the month we did our House prediction for 2026. And in today's video, I thought we would take some time to do the Senate prediction for 2026, fill out the 35 Senate seats that are going to be up for grabs this election cycle to see which way the upper chamber is going to go. Democrats definitely have yet another tough map for the Senate. They really don't have a clear pathway to retake it. But the question is, can Republicans expand, or are they going to lose seats in a way that possibly could endanger themselves in 2028 in the upper chamber? And that would assume a lot goes right for the Democrats as well, because these Senate maps are not really too kind to them. But without further ado, we're going to fill this map out. We're going to start off with the safe states, the states that are going to go in either column by 10 percentage points or more. And we'll start off with the Republican safe states. We have Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, the state of Alaska, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, and West Virginia, South Carolina, and Florida as well can be put in the safe Republican column. So out of the gate, Democrats are in a lot of trouble because Republicans are expected to win enough states by 10 points or more to already get them to 48. That doesn't even include the likely states, which Democrats are not going to have much of a chance at either. But the Democrats will win Oregon by a safe margin. They will win the state of Colorado, Illinois most likely, Delaware, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and I believe that that is all for the safe Democrat column. So they're only at 40. Now, on the Republican side, in the likely column, we're going to fill these out. But really quickly, guys, have to tell you guys about our great friends over at Allegiance Gold, because while the media is obsessing about Trump's tariff, something big is brewing and nobody's talking about it except right here. Because starting July 1st, under new Basel III international banking rules, gold will officially be reclassified as a Tier 1 asset, placing it on the same level as cash and U.S. Treasuries. Translation: gold is money again. Just in the first quarter, thousands of tons of gold were quietly moved back to the U.S. from Europe. Meanwhile, central banks around the world are stockpiling gold at record levels. That's not a coincidence, it's a signal. So if the world's most powerful financial institutions are hoarding gold, why aren't you? Don't wait. Call Allegiance Gold, the trusted experts I've partnered with that have the highest ratings and accolades. They'll help you secure real physical gold and silver delivered straight to your home or placed securely inside your IRA or 401k. Go to allegiancegold.com/redeagle or call 844-790-9191. That's 844-790-9191 and mention Red Eagle. You could be eligible to receive up to $5,000 in free metals, but only if you act now, because gold is freedom, gold is sovereignty, and starting July 1st, gold's officially money. That's allegiancegold.com/redeagle or call 844-790-9191 today. So without further ado, let's dive back into the Senate map. We'll start off with the likely Republican states, the states that are going to go in the Republican column by 5 to 10 points. Ohio is one of them. John Husted, he's going to win relatively easily, may even win by more than 10. Same thing with the state of Iowa, where Joni Ernst will likely win by at least 5 points as well in the state of Iowa. The state of Texas, we don't know who the nominee is going to be. Ken Paxton has polled a little bit weaker against Democrats than John Cornyn, but he still is very likely to win, probably by 5 points or more. Texas is indeed a red state, and that would be enough to get Republicans to 51 Senate seats. That is not good for the Democrats. Now, Democrats have some states that are going to be going in this column as well. The state of New Mexico, they will likely take by over 5 points. The Republican Party in New Mexico is relatively weak. In Virginia, Mark Warner will probably end up winning by more than 5 points as well. It's the state of New Jersey. Cory Booker, he may even win by 10 points or more, but to be cautious, we'll put it in the likely Democrat column. And the state of Minnesota, this one's a little bit iffy. It depends on the Democrat nominee, but the Republican Party in Minnesota is virtually non-existent. They are completely broken. As of right now, I think we will leave Minnesota in the likely Democrat column. So that leaves us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Senate seats remaining. Republicans are at 51, Democrats are at 44. These will be decided between 0 and 5 percentage points. Those that are going to go Republican by 2 points to 5 points, those will be in the lean column. Those who will be decided by less than 2, those states are going to be in the tilt column. So Maine. Susan Collins is an electoral juggernaut of sorts. I know her approval rating has fallen, but it seems like we go through this every cycle with Susan Collins where she's trailing in the polls and then she ends up winning by quite a bit. And I do believe because she'll win the primary, and Republicans that want to primary her are kind of wasting their time because you're going to give the seat to a Democrat. You're going to spend time and energy and resources in doing so. And Collins is somebody that is a Republican, somewhat of a rhino, but is from a blue state and represents a blue state to the point where it may be a little bit more understandable, and she does well among independent voters. I think that she's going to win, and it does seem as if you're not going to have like the strongest Democrat running against her either, and that would put the Republicans at 52 Senate seats. So out of the gate, you have that. Now we'll go to New Hampshire, where Scott Brown is probably going to be the Republican nominee, and I think he's a decently strong candidate going up against who will likely be Chris Pappas on the Democrat side. But still, it's New Hampshire. Even though Republicans have done well in the registration data, it is a midterm year, and that usually means that Democrats have that turnout advantage in a place like New Hampshire. Still, I think it could be competitive. I think Brown is somebody who is a strong candidate. But as of right now, I think that you would have to say that the Democrats at least start off as the favorites. It doesn't mean that it's impossible for the Republicans to win that race, but the Democrats are going to start off as the favorites. So now we'll go to North Carolina. North Carolina voted for Donald Trump by over 3 percentage points in the 2024 election. It's also a state where the turnout dynamics in the midterms benefits the Republicans, unlike in the Rust Belt. But it is also true that Thom Tillis is not the strongest candidate overall. Now, the Democrats are not going to be running, most likely, Roy Cooper against him, who would be their strongest challenger. They're going to be running Wiley Nickel, who's not a horrible candidate, but he's not really a phenomenal one either. And I do believe that this is going to be a close race. I think Tillis, just because he has that funding advantage, because he has the power of incumbency, and the ability to kind of shift his rhetoric in a way and shift certain vote patterns he has in the Senate in a way that could benefit him electorally. I think that you could say he's the narrow favorite. So we have the state of Georgia, which Brian Kemp has said he would not run for the Senate race there. He may run in 2028 for either the Senate race there or the presidency, or maybe he'll just retire from politics altogether, at least electoral politics. But in terms of Georgia, John Ossoff is a very weak Democrat, in my opinion. And it's kind of the inverse of North Carolina because Tillis is weak, but he's not really going to be facing a super strong challenger. Now, I think Georgia's winnable for the Republicans, but we don't really know who the nominee is going to be just yet. When we have a clear campaign that's being run on the Republican side, and I could look at this person and point to them and say, yeah, they're going to be a strong challenger, I'll change the rating. But as of right now, I think that tilt Democrat is fine. It really just depends on the Republican nominee, what kind of campaign they're going to be able to run, because I do believe if there is one and they're going to be able to run a solid campaign, Ossoff is beatable. He is somebody that is relatively far left, and he's not really pretending to be somebody who wants to win re-election for one reason or another. Now, he could pivot, he could change. We don't exactly know when that's going to take place, but as of right now, I just don't really think that he's taking it seriously, and I think he's beatable. But on the other hand, the Republicans don't have like a front-runner nominee type of guy who you can point to and say would be able to beat him given the amount of money the Democrats are going to spend on his behalf. So that leaves us with Michigan, which is now an open seat because Gary Peters has announced his retirement. And we don't know who the Democrat nominee is going to be. The Republicans very possibly could put up Mike Rogers again. And this is a year where you could look at it and say it's a get-right year for Michigan Republicans because you have a wide-open opportunity at the state level with it being a three-way race and with Mike Duggan as the center-left independent probably taking votes away from the Democrats and allowing John James to become the clear favorite for the governor's race, depending on what happens over the next year. The Senate race is going to be close, in my opinion. I do believe that it would be winnable, but like I said, it's a midterm year. You don't have Trump on the ballot, and it's in a Rust Belt state. Will Republicans be able to get enough of those white working class voters out to vote who would vote for the Republican Senate candidate? I do believe that James can win enough of them, mainly because of the fact that the race is easier for him, being it's a three-way race. But somebody like a Mike Rogers, I'm not entirely sure, and I'm not really entirely sure that there is a possible Republican candidate in an environment like that who could get them out to vote. But it's possible, depending on how Donald Trump's approval rating is, depending on how things go between now and 2026. We're still a long way away, but it's a midterm year, and a lot of people would say the party in power loses seats. And in fact, we have the Republicans staying at 53 in this prediction, which is a solid victory for them in and of itself, and the Democrats at 47. And given the map in 2028, given the map in 2030, depending on how things go, Republicans are going to be able to put themselves in a position to inch closer and closer to that 60 mark, which would be a filibuster-proof majority. And there is a possible chance that they could win a state like Georgia or Michigan or both. And if they do that, it gets a whole lot easier for them. We'll just have to wait and see. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.